Well, first off, Parker, open up with a win. You guys really, that third quarter kind of flexed your muscles. That third quarter, what was the difference for you guys? Or was there much different for you guys?
Oh, I don't think there was really a whole lot of difference. We went in at halftime, kind of realized what we're doing and what we needed to do, and really just focusing on ourselves. It really just kind of comes down at points in the game, guys making plays. And in the third quarter, we were really able to do that.
Pittsburgh State coming up this Thursday night. You've had a chance to look at a little film on them. Of course, we remember what happened last year. What's the mentality you feel like you guys need to take into this game?
Really, just we're gonna need a bunch of tough football players to beat Pitt State. Honestly, they're gonna come in here and offensively, I think they're gonna try and kind of wheel over us, and they're gonna run the football, and we need to do whatever we can do to stop that.
You've had some time to look things over defensively. How would you evaluate your guys' performance on Thursday, and what things do you think that there might be that you need to improve the most on for this upcoming week?
Definitely a lot of room for improvement. After the game was over, we got back here. We were able to look at the film and kind of evaluate how we did. Definitely a lot of room for improvement, but at the same time, we saw a lot of good things out of a lot of different people, which was really good to see.
Talk about your individual performance a little bit. 3.5 sacks. I mean, where's that been?
I don't know. I feel like I've been a pretty good practice player for a long time, and I feel like I've almost had a little bit of a problem. I can do it in practice, but then I go out in the game, and it's like, I don't know, where's it at? So really just kind of focusing on the small details of things and focusing on transferring things that I do during practice into games, and just not let the moment get too big, maybe so to say.
Was there anything Coach told you before the game that inspired you to put up? It was a career high for you, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Was there anything they told you that inspired you?
Not really. That was one thing that Coach Laporta did talk to us about, was just, it was our first game of the year, but just, don't let the moment get too big. It's, at the end of the day, it's still just a football game, so just focusing on that.
Okay, and so this upcoming game against Pittsburgh State, how big is that game for you guys?
Pitt State obviously is a big game for us every year. Pitt's kind of a powerhouse, so to say, but it's gonna be a good test for us, honestly, to kind of see where we're at.
Well, Landon, first off, just give us your assessment of week one.
It was a good win. We kind of started slow offensively. We didn't play to our ability in the first half. We didn't use our tempo and didn't come out, firing like we should. But we came out in the second half and got things corrected at halftime and got things turned around in the second half and came out firing, and it was a good win.
Obviously, Pittsburgh State coming up. This will be a little more of a challenge for you guys, facing a defense that was third in giving up points last year in the MIAA. Where do you guys have to be better?
I think we just have to come out stronger offensively to start the game. We got to come out and hit on all cylinders to start the game. We got to make Braxton comfortable in the pocket up front and do a great job in the run game. And receivers got to do a job getting open and just making plays.
Go ahead.
Pitt State, a game last year, had one of those that just had some weird things happen. That was the game that Braxton had gotten hurt. Just the way that went down, does that add any incentive or maybe a little chip on the shoulder to want to come back this year and kind of put that one completely behind you and show them that you're a different team than what they saw last year?
I think when you get beat the year before, I think it's always a little bit of motivation coming in for a little revenge. But at the same time, we got to just come out and play our ball game. We know what we have to do. They're physical and they're fast, and they're going to be a tough team. And we got to come out and just play our brand of football, and if we play how we know how we're capable of playing, we'll come out with a victory.
Are these the type of games you would like to play in?
Absolutely. These hard-nosed, kind of grind it out, and it's a tough conference, so week in and week out, it's kind of the same mentality going into each game, and games like this against Pitt State are the ones you play for.
And what stood out to you last week? Obviously, the defense and special teams both had moments where they were able. Those were big question marks going into the season, and they both had moments that they really kind of stood up and made the difference.
Yeah, like you said, the defense and special teams did a great job. I think the way we responded at halftime offensively, like I said, we didn't get things going the way we were capable of, and we came out in the second half and kind of show what we're capable of doing, and we're going to build on that this week.
Talk a little bit. I mean, Emporia State known as as a passing team for the last few years, but really kind of came out and ran the rock. I mean, what was different this year?
I think we're just more comfortable. We got a great offensive line, and when you get a good offensive line and great coaching behind them, then we got upperclassmen in the backfield that are comfortable running the ball, and I think we're just building off of that from last year, and we're going to continue to do that week in and week out.
Coach, first off, let's get your assessment of week number 1.
Our last week's game, I thought that we played really well the second half, especially defensively. We talked about at the beginning of the year, going into this year, just really concentrating on getting turnovers. And those turnovers led to really kind of shifting the momentum to our side there in the third quarter. I mean, offensively, we were able to capitalize on those points. I was a little disappointed in how we played offensively. We just we didn't play like ourselves, I felt. And I think that had to do with a little bit of kind of going into that game kind of not knowing. There's a lot of unknown. But I still think we should have played a lot better, executed a lot better. We did work with the short field a lot in the second half, and we were able to capitalize and turn those turnovers into touchdowns. We need to score points when we get in the red zone, and we also need to get better at kicking field goals. That was one of the things that I thought Sam did a really good job of kicking off, but really needs to be a lot more consistent when it comes to being able to put 3 points on the board. But good win, as I say, always when you go on the road in the MIAA, it's tough. Tahlequah has always been a tough place for us to play, so I was really glad for us to come out with a win.
Defense and special teams, two kind of relative question marks going into this season. What stood out to you about their performance, and what did you really like about what you were able to see out of them?
Well, again, go back to the turnovers was huge. I think that special teams wise, we were able to get turnovers too. Our coverage units, I thought, did a good job. We're going to have to do a lot better this week because they have a very dangerous returner. And as I said, I think Sam did a good job of kicking the ball off, especially getting it down there deep. But we didn't execute very well in field goals. We had an extra point blocked. So those are things that we got to shore up. I mean, we got a long ways. So we got a lot of room for improvement. Again, it was good for the first game, but we're going to definitely have to play a lot better in all phases this week.
Pitt State, obviously one of the bigger rivals you guys have. Last year the game did not turn out so well. Are you feeling like a little bit bigger sense of urgency, these guys wanting to come home and put on a good show against a team that they were really frustrated against last year?
Well, I think anytime we play at home, whoever we're playing, it's a sense of urgency, and that's kind of how we need to be. That's kind of what we pride ourselves on. I mean, the MIAA, every Saturday, if you're not ready to play, you got an opportunity to get beat and get either sent home with a sad face, or same thing at home, you can go home with a sad face. So I think that our guys will definitely be ready to play. There's no question there. I mean, it's still early in the year. I think, we still got, like I said, a lot of room for improvement, and I really don't know kind of where we're at right now. I mean, I think, with that game last week, come out with a win, but this will be a big test. We'll kind of see kind of where we're at. It's going to be a very physical game. Mentally we got to get ready to play, and we're going to have to understand that. We're going to have to understand that things aren't going to go our way all the time, and we got to be able to mentally fight through that. And we got to take it one play at a time, and we got to be tough. And I know, again, like I said, our guys will be ready. They can't let outside variables affect them, and we just got to play our brand of football and limit turnovers. We're going to have to stop the run. Again, that's something that they're a very physical football team, and they got a big quarterback who can run the football, and we got to do a good job at tackling. Defensively they do a lot of I don't want to say they do a lot of different things, but they're good defensively. I mean, they put pressure on you, with only 4 or 5 man pressures. They, secondary wise, I think very, very talented. Play a lot of different players in the secondary. Very athletic. They match up well with us. It's going to be a big test for our receivers, and we've talked all year and even before the season started that we're going to have to get better play out of our receivers. It's going to be a big test.